Hey friends, welcome back to Horror Stories Bedtime. Take a slow breath. Put the phone down for a moment. Picture a small apartment, a laptop on a tiny desk, a ring light humming. Imagine you doing a late night stream because the city is quiet and people on the internet feel like friends at that hour. Tonight's story is about what happens when an online crowd knows you better than you know yourself. My name is Maya and I ran a small late-night livestream channel called Midnight Snacks and Chat. It wasn't a job. It barely paid for the extra coffee. It was a place where I talked with people about small things. A bad date, a pasta recipe, a song that made me cry in the car. My setup was basic, a laptop on a thrift store desk, a ring light clipped to a cheap tripod, and 2 decorative succulents I never killed. I streamed from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. East Coast time, because that's when my people logged on: nurses finishing shifts, students finishing papers, insomniacs who liked calm voices. For months it was quiet and kind. The same 10 people would appear most nights: Sam, who worked nights at a gas station, Lena, the grad student, an older woman who signed in as Graham June and always typed a tiny heart emoji. People would drop in, say hi, and leave a kind comment. I'd brew tea, read chat, answer questions, and sometimes cry on air when a sad song hit me. People sent care packages once, a sleeve of tea bags and a handwritten note. It made me feel less alone. Then the messages started getting specific. At first it was harmless and funny. One night, a viewer named Bluecap dropped a donation and the chat lit up. Bluecap, turn the lamp on the left for me, Maya, the left one. I like the yellow light. I'd laughed and flipped the lamp. The chat showered us with lamp emojis. Weird taste, someone typed. Cozy, another typed. It made the stream interactive. Viewers loved making small requests. After a week the requests became weirder. Open drawer 3 and show the bottom, said Quiet Fox. Tap the right corner of the table, said Samdo's Night. The chat thought it was a game, like a scavenger hunt. I humored them. I opened the drawers. My apartment was small and most drawers held only the things you expect: receipts, old grocery lists, a broken button. Nothing exciting. Nobody ever seemed satisfied. They kept directing me toward places I hadn't touched in months. The box of old Polaroids in the closet, the postage stamp tin under my desk, the seam in the living room curtain. The usernames felt like a crowd trying to lead me through my own place. I began to joke on the stream. Are you decorating my apartment for me? People sent laughing emojis. It felt like play. It felt like attention. Then one night at about 1:13 a.m., someone typed a message that made the chat go quiet. Watch me now, say his name. I frowned. There was a pause before anyone answered. A couple of the regulars wrote, what name? And is this a dare? But watch me now repeated calmly. Say his name, read it out loud. It felt like a trick. My mouth went dry. I answered slowly, who, which. The username sent a single white text bubble. No more words, no context. The chat filled with question marks. I laughed to cover my unease and said, I don't really do name calling on air, folks. I pushed the question away like a buzzing fly. But then another user, Old Clock, pasted a short line of text. It was a name and a year. Michael 2007. The name meant nothing to me in that second. There are lots of Michaels. Then a tip popped up, $2.50, the small amount people do as a joke. When someone tips, most platforms highlight their text. That's a way viewers get attention. Old Clock, read it, please. The chat split into 2 camps. Some wanted me to play along to stir the show. Some told me to ignore it. I felt the camera on my face like a hot plate. My hand hovered above the mug of tea. Outside my window, a siren wound its way through the night and then faded. I said quietly, okay, Michael. My voice sounded small and a little shaky in the microphone. I felt silly immediately. The chat exploded with reactions, laughs, claps, a few WTFs. At once, from the corner of my living room, the corner nobody ever paid attention to, the old floorboard creaked. A soft sound like breath. I hadn't noticed it all evening. It was not the cat. She sleeps on the couch. I turned my head. Nothing moved. A minute later, a DM popped up not in the public chat but as a private message to me. The platform allows subscribers to send private messages. The sender, watch me now. Message, he remembers when you said it. I felt my skin tighten. I answered in private, who is he? No reply. Just that small gray typing bubble for a long time, then nothing. The on-screen chat filled with speculation like a swarm. I tried to steer the tone back to jokes, but the feeling that someone else had the script for my night sat like a stone behind my breastbone. The next day I scrolled through my old photos. I have boxes of Polaroids I meant to sort. I don't take photographs of strangers. I snapped photos of food, the cat, a blurry skyline. I flipped a Polaroid and found, tucked into the sleeve, a square of paper with handwriting I didn't know. The name Michael and the date 2007 were on it, in a hand that trembled like someone who writes slowly. I called my mother and asked about Michael's cousins, a childhood friend, names blurred and ordinary. She asked if I'd been talking to strangers. She didn't say it, but her voice held the question. Are you careful, Maya? I told her I was fine. I set the paper on the shelf and told myself it was a coincidence. People send names. People tip odd things. The internet is a noisy place. That night, Watch Me Now typed again in public chat. Check under the second cushion on the couch. My heart stuttered. The camera showed me on screen. My hand reached to the cushion slowly and pulled. For a breath, the chat filled with do it and nuo and the little emoji that looks like a face covering its mouth. Under the cushion was nothing but the lint and a couple of receipts. But tucked beneath one receipt was a folded piece of paper. I unfolded it in front of the camera. It said, he likes the dark. A user named Graham June typed, Maya honey, step away from the cushions. Her heartbeat emoji was a small comfort. I laughed because you do when you feel cornered. I felt silly, and then the laugh dried in my throat. After the stream, I lay awake a long time. I told myself I was being performative, that a screen magnifies small things into meaning. But the pieces of paper, the exact instructions, the way they led me through my own apartment like a scavenger map, it left a residue, a thought. What if the stream was a way for someone to watch me live and tell me the room's wants? 2 nights later, a tip came with a large number attached. On the platform, big tips can be anonymous, and sometimes they're used for spectacle. Someone wants the streamer's attention. The name that went with this large tip was Watcher47. The platform highlighted their message. It read, "Show the closet, tell him you are sorry." I felt my throat close. The closet in question was the closet in the bedroom. I have winter coats, old college hoodies, the small shoebox of letters I swore I'd never open. I do not keep secrets from people, but I do not like my small private things aired. The chat swarmed. Some users told me to close the stream. Some told me to act. I hesitated. As a streamer, you learn that drama equals watch time. As a person, you learn that some doors should stay shut. I opened the closet. There in the back, a shoebox I'd forgotten. I hauled it out and set it on my lap for the camera. Inside, nothing than a folded page, yellowed with age. On it, a letter written in ink the color of old leaves. The letter began with a name I'd never seen in person but had heard in family stories, Michael. The letter talked about running away at 17, about the smell of the rain in a town I'd never been to, about delivering packages to a house on a hill. The handwriting was small and rushed. The date said 2008. The chat stopped being playful. The usual jokes fell away. For the first time, I had tens of strangers watching me read something private. The camera captured my hands shaking. After the stream ended, I quickly said goodnight, closed the app, and turned off the ring light. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. He likes when you read. He remembers loud voices. Do not let him hear you night after night. I typed back the most sensible response I could think of. Who are you? Stop. How do you know? No answer. only the typing bubble and then silence. I tried to sleep. I put a lamp on, left it on low, and dozed with the TV noise. At 2:14 a.m., I woke to a weight at the edge of my blankets like a patch of cold that someone pressed with their palm. I turned the lamp higher. The room was empty. My cat was on the pillow, eyes wide. On the carpet by the foot of the bed, tiny wet footprints marred the rug. I called out, half laughing, half crying, "Stop, who is?" And my voice was thin in the hollow apartment. The next day, a local news article obsessed with a cold case from 2007 surfaced online. A boy named Michael had disappeared from a small town 3 states away. The details were vague. No arrest. The reporter quoted a neighbor who said they heard someone moving in the walls late at night the year he vanished. I turned the page and felt the world go sideways. I deleted the stream that evening. I told my regulars on social media I needed time away. People left messages of support. It should have been the end. You would think pulling the plug would stop everything. You would think that if something uses a live camera to learn you, cutting the stream ends its access. But the messages didn't stop. They came in slow. DMs, new mail, an email with a subject line that had no sender. Someone or something had linked my name to a case long closed. My apartment felt like a stage that stayed lit even when the audience left. One message said simply, "Tonight he's near the window. Do not let him cross the glass." I kept the blinds closed. I called the non-emergency police line and asked about linked crimes and old missing person cases. The woman on the phone said records exist, and sometimes people make connections out of coincidence. She was kind and bureaucratic and offered to email me resources. Her calm voice helped. That night, I sat awake on the couch with a baseball bat and my laptop closed. Silence lasted until just after 1 in the morning. Then my phone buzzed with a donation alert I hadn't permitted. Watcher 47, $100 message. Open the window, say it. My hands went cold. The chat feature was disabled. The donation was anonymous. I left the bat and the lamp and got up. I walked to the living room window, and for reasons I can only own now, I cracked it open an inch. Cold air slipped in, smelling like rain on hot pavement, like somewhere far away. I leaned my forehead against the glass and whispered into the night as if nomming someone could make them real or make them go away. "Michael," I said. For a second, nothing happened. Then, from outside, right where the blossom of the streetlight caught the rain, came a small, almost shy tapping like fingernails on a glass jar. The sound matched the rhythm of a child's small hand. My knees went weak. I closed the window, bolted it, and sat on the floor until the sun brightened the room. I told myself it was some kid with a toy. I told myself someone was playing a horror trick. But that night the wet footprints on the rug were gone. In their place, a faint smear of cleaner on the hardwood, like someone had tried to erase something. I moved a week later. I listed the place online, packed a bag, and left my succulents to the friend who checked on my cat. I made sure the listing didn't show the exact layout. I changed the locks. I told myself I was done. For 6 months I stayed away from the camera. I took long walks in daylight, went to dinner with friends, refused all late-night invites. I felt safer. I slept with one leg out of the covers, oriented toward the exit. When insomnia rose, I read until I slipped into a tiredness that had nothing to do with the internet. Then one foggy Tuesday, a small package arrived at my work address. No return address. Inside was a single Polaroid and a folded scrap. The photo was taken from a distance, a small white apartment building. In the front window, the apartment where my succulents had lived glowed faintly at night. The folded scrap had only 2 words. "We watch." I looked at the picture until the corners blurred. I can tell you to cut your camera, to lock your windows, to move, and those are sensible things. But the strangest part of living with that message was this. The crowd that showed up online had wanted to be part of my room. They wanted to see, to name, to make a map of me. Sometimes people come together to offer good things. Sometimes they come together to help a memory find its rest. Sometimes the crowd becomes another presence, and when you try to leave the stage keeps sending invitations. If you ever stream late at night and someone in chat asks you to read a name, or to show the sleeve of a drawer, think twice. The internet has a way of learning the rooms you live in. It learns the small routes your feet take. It learns which lamp you prefer. And sometimes, in the quiet after the stream ends, something that knows those small things taps politely on the glass and asks you to let it in. Good night. Hey friends, welcome back to Horror Stories Bedtime. Before we start, take a deep breath. Let the sound of the rain fill your ears, the kind of soft rain that always sounds like a quiet static hum. Tonight's story is about what happens when a live stream freezes, but the screen doesn't show what should be there. It shows what's real somewhere else right now. My name is Ethan Cole, and I stream video games for a living. Not big time, just a mid-tier streamer, about 30,000 followers, mostly horror and indie games. I do a segment called No Sleep Speedruns every weekend where I try to beat scary games in one sitting. It's silly, fun, and keeps me from thinking too much about how quiet my apartment is. I live in Omaha, Nebraska, in a one-bedroom place above a pizza shop. The hum of the soda machine downstairs mixes with the rain on the awning. It's oddly comforting. Streaming is my whole routine. Wake up, edit clips, reply to chat, go live. The camera faces me, my little neon sign in the background, my cat occasionally jumping on my keyboard. I thought I'd seen every technical glitch possible, until the night the screen froze. It was a Thursday. I remember because my followers call it Thrash Thursday, the day I play hard or broken games for laughs. That night I was speedrunning a horror game called Empty Roads. It's one of those quiet walking simulators where nothing happens until everything happens. The stream was going well. The chat was lively, donations popping. The room filled with the blue glow of my monitor. Then it happened. Right as my character entered a tunnel, the game froze. The stream stuttered for a second, and the word buffering popped up on my preview screen. I sighed, leaned back in my chair, and joked, guess my internet haunted again. Chat laughed. The viewer count dipped, then rose again. But when the feed came back, it wasn't the game anymore. It was me. Not live me. A frozen frame of me asleep in bed. The image lasted maybe 2 seconds. It was grainy, like footage from an old webcam. The chat went wild. Yo, what is that? He's asleep. Pre-recorded. I sat there staring, confused. Then the screen blinked black, and the game resumed like nothing happened. I laughed it off, told everyone it must have been a stream delay, and finished the run. But after the stream ended, I rewatched the recording. That freeze frame was still there. Me, eyes closed, in bed, wearing the same t-shirt I had on right then. I shrugged it off as an encoder glitch. But the next night, it happened again. Different game, same result. Around the 1 hour mark, the stream lagged, the screen pixelated, and there I was, sleeping again. Same angle, same lighting, same t-shirt, like someone had filmed me and injected the footage into my stream. Viewers started sending clips. They zoomed in. You could see the reflection of the hallway light in the background. But I'd never streamed from my bedroom. My PC is in the living room. I don't even keep a camera in there. I checked every device I owned. My webcam unplugged when not in use. My laptop closed. My phone face down. Still the next day, someone emailed me from a blank account. Subject line, stop turning it off. No message body. Just that. I blocked it. But that night, my phone buzzed at 3:17 a.m. Notification, stream is live. I bolted upright. I hadn't gone live. I hadn't even touched my computer. When I opened Twitch, my channel was streaming, but not from my setup. The feed showed my bedroom. The camera was facing my bed. I could see myself sleeping. The blankets rose and fell. The same neon blue light glowed from the monitor in the other room. Except I hadn't left the PC on. The chat was flooding. Yo, he sleep streaming. Bro, this is wild. Who's holding the camera? Someone tipped $10 with a message. Don't wake him. My heart hammered in my chest. I rushed to the living room and froze. The PC was on, yes, but the webcam light was. No app was running, yet the live counter said 4,000 viewers. I looked toward my bedroom door. It was half open. Inside, faint light flickered like a TV. And then, a sound. Soft, slow, breathing. Not mine. I grabbed the nearest thing, a screwdriver, and pushed the door open. The bed was empty. Blankets folded back neatly. The air cold. The sound of breathing still there, coming from the corner near the window. I turned. The phone on the nightstand buzzed once, then stopped. On the screen, a single notification. Stream ended. The feed went dark. The next morning, the video replay was gone. Twitch said the content violated community guidelines. No reason. No warning. I checked my email. Another message. Same blank account. This one said, "It's better when you sleep." I tried to stop streaming. Didn't open OBS. Didn't touch my PC. But even then, viewers started DMing me screenshots. Yo, are you doing ARG content now? This is genius. Attached were images from a live feed. My feed, showing my apartment at night. Me walking to the kitchen. Me standing at the window. Me staring at the camera. Only problem, I hadn't done any of that. I'd been out of town that night. I called a tech friend, Mason, the guy who built my setup. He came over, ran diagnostics, checked router logs, IP access, everything. He frowned and said, "Man, none of this makes sense. It's like something's pushing video packets out that don't exist on your drive." He unplugged everything, every cable, every camera, then reinstalled my entire system. We did a test stream. Everything was fine for the first hour. Then the game froze. Buffering. The screen flickered once. And for half a second, Mason's face went pale. "What the hell was that?" he whispered. The freeze frame wasn't me asleep this time. It was the two of us, standing in my apartment. But the timestamp read yesterday, 3:17 a.m. We hadn't been here yesterday. We watched in silence as the chat flooded. Are they ghosts? Yo, this ARG is too real. He's looping himself. Mason leaned forward, muttering, "Dude, I think it's reading your cached OBS scenes somehow." But he didn't finish. The video feed blinked again. Now the image was the same room, but empty. The chairs were gone. The desk was gone. The whole scene stripped bare. Then a faint whisper came through my headset. Not a voice. A breath, followed by 3 words. "You're not live." The stream cut to black. The software crashed. And when it reopened, every file, every clip, every replay, was gone. Even my Twitch archive was empty. The only thing left was a single new scene in OBS labeled Buffer. When I clicked it, the preview window lit up. The camera feed showed my room in real time, except there was a shape standing behind me. Tall, still, watching. I spun around. Nothing there. The chair behind me was empty. But on the screen, the shape was still there. It leaned forward toward the camera. Static burst through my headphones. And for one frame, just one, it smiled. Then the screen went black. I unplugged the PC, hauled it to the dumpster behind the pizza shop, stopped streaming altogether. For a while, things were normal. No emails, no glitches, no frozen frames. Then last week, I got a package. No return label. Inside, a new webcam, identical to the one I threw away. A sticky note on the box read, "We fixed the buffering. If your stream ever freezes and shows something that shouldn't be there, don't try to fix it. Don't rewind. Don't look for your reflection. Sometimes the lag isn't your internet. Sometimes it's something trying to catch up to you. Good night." Hey friends, welcome back to Horror Stories Bedtime. Before we begin, take a breath. Listen to the rain. Imagine 4 friends in a living room, pizza boxes on the floor, laughter still echoing from the last joke. The lights are dim, the camera on, and thousands of people are watching their movie night unfold in real time. But what if the film they're watching starts to remember them back? My name's Noah, and last fall I started a live stream series called Retro Watch Party. It was simple. Me and a few friends reacting to weird old VHS tapes we'd find at thrift stores. We'd digitize them, stream them live, and joke through the weird commercials, 90s workout tapes, and forgotten birthday videos. It was cozy, just background noise for people who like nostalgia and late-night comfort. Our little crew was the same every week. Jess, my best friend since middle school. Ryan, our tech guy who made sure the VHS player didn't burst into flames. And Liv, our sarcastic art school dropout who made any boring clip funny. We'd sit on the couch, mic up, and go live. Friday nights at 11. Hot lights, warm pizza, chat scrolling too fast to read. For months it was fun. Until the night we played the tape labeled Home 97. We found it at a yard sale on the edge of town. A plain black VHS with the word home scrawled on masking tape, no case. Ryan joked, "If we die, at least it'll be on stream." We laughed. We always laughed. We went live like usual. The chat was buzzing, watch party live, haunted VHS trending midstream. I remember saying, "Okay folks, let's see what's on this thing." Ryan hit play. The screen flickered. Static hissed. Then a handheld shot of a suburban living room. Old furniture, lace curtains, the sound of kids playing off camera. Harmless. Looks like someone's home movie, Jess said. The camera panned across the room, toys on the floor, TV playing cartoons. And then stopped on a man sitting in an armchair. He waved at the camera, smiled. No one in the chat recognized him, obviously. But the comments started flying. Creepy vibe. Why's he looking straight at the lens? Yo, his eyes aren't blinking. We laughed again. Old tape quirks. The static made the frame jittery, like every movement was half a second delayed. Then from somewhere off-screen, a voice said, "Do you see us?" Jess chuckled. That's a weird home movie thing to say. But the voice wasn't a joke. It was soft, uncertain, like someone asking a child to look closer. Ryan glanced at me. Did we splice this tape weird? I shook my head. No man, that's just on there. The tape cut suddenly to black. Then a new scene. A hallway. Dim. A camera slowly walking toward a half-open door. The audio was muffled breathing. No one spoke on stream for a full 15 seconds. Then in the chat. Wait, that looks like your hallway. Dozens of messages echoed it. Noah, that's your apartment, right? Bro, same painting. Look at the clock, same one on the wall. I frowned and leaned closer to the TV. They weren't wrong. The frame did look similar. The same layout, the same cheap framed cityscape I bought at Target. I even saw what looked like my own couch. Except darker, like filmed years ago. Jess laughed nervously. Wow, what are the odds? Ryan mumbled, yeah, crazy coincidence. Liv whispered, play it back. He rewound 10 seconds. They're clear as day. The camera panned past a window. And outside that window was the streetlight on our block. The chat exploded. They're in your house. Pre-recorded prank. Yo, this is too real. Ryan paused the tape. We sat in stunned silence. I tried to joke, okay, whoever dropped that tape off, you win. Great prank. But nobody laughed. Then the tape resumed on its own. Ryan swore he didn't touch the remote. The camera moved again, entering the living room, our living room, and stopped, pointing straight at the couch. On screen, the couch was empty, but the room looked exactly as it did at that moment. Same pizza box, same soda can on the table. Then, and I'll never forget this, a flicker crossed the frame. Just for a second. A blur shaped like a person sitting on the couch. The chat filled with, I saw it. Who's sitting next to Jess? Liv leaned toward the TV. No, seriously, that looked like. Before she could finish, the lights in our room flickered. Ryan turned off the player. Static filled the screen anyway. The sound, that dry hiss of white noise, got louder, sharper, until it felt like the walls were vibrating with it. Then a new image formed out of the static. 4 people sitting on a couch. Us. Exact posture, exact angle. Like someone had filmed us from behind the TV. We froze. Jess whispered, that's Liv. I shook my head, impossible. The me on the screen blinked, 1 frame behind me. The chat went insane. They're being filmed right now. Behind the camera, turn around. This is not fake. I did. Nothing there. Just the blank wall and the tripod holding the webcam. Then faintly, behind us, a sound. Footsteps. Soft. Slow. Coming from the kitchen. Liv stood up first. Okay, joke over. Ryan, you planned this, right? Ryan's voice cracked. No, I swear. The footsteps stopped. We all stared toward the hallway. And from the dark, a low voice muffled, like through an old speaker, said, keep watching. Every hair on my arm stood up. The screen flashed white, then showed another scene. Different angle, different time. It was night, darker, grainier. The same living room. But now all 4 of us were gone. The pizza box was still there. The light outside was out. In the background, a faint shape moved toward the camera, dragging something heavy across the floor. The object hit the edge of the frame with a dull thud. Liv backed away. Turn it off, she whispered. Turn it off now. Ryan hit eject. The player refused. He pulled the plug. The screen stayed on. Chat messages were flying. Call the cops. It's looping. They're trapped in their own stream. I turned off the main light. The screen glowed blue-white against the dark. On it, our living room again. Empty. Then the image rewound itself. Frames flickering backward. Vast. Until it froze on the first man we saw in the beginning. The one sitting in the armchair. He was closer now. His face clearer. And he was smiling. Except the longer we stared, the more his face looked like mine. That was the last thing I remember before the stream crashed. When the video came back, we were all gone. The camera pointed at the couch. Empty. Only static noise. It streamed like that for 3 hours. The chat kept watching, donating, waiting for us to reappear. We didn't. Police came later. Neighbors reported loud noises, flickering lights. They found the room empty. The tape, gone. The player, melted inside, like the film fused with the metal. The only thing left was our stream archive. The file stops right after the smile. And at the very end, the last frame before black, someone new sits in the armchair. Not me. Not anyone we knew. Just a shape, leaning forward, as if watching something we couldn't see. If you ever host a watch party, and the tape asks you to keep watching, turn it off. Leave the house. Because some recordings don't play you a memory. They record your ending. Good night. Hey friends, welcome back to Horror Stories Bedtime. Tonight's story is quiet, the kind of quiet that hums between breaths. It's about a woman who speaks for a living, whose calm voice comforts thousands of strangers every night, until her own voice starts answering back. My name's Claire, and I run an ASMR livestream channel called The Whisper Room. If you've ever listened to gentle tapping, soft whispers, or rain sounds to fall asleep, that's me. Nothing spooky, nothing loud, just the kind of sound that feels like warmth in your ears. I started small, streaming from my tiny apartment in Portland, Oregon. My setup was simple. A desk, a mic, a candle, and a second-hand ring light that buzzed faintly when it warmed up. I'd whisper about little things, book pages, tea stirring, soft brushing sounds. It was peaceful, soothing, normal. For 2 years, it was my safe space. And then one night, something whispered back. It started with a donation request. Every streamer knows them. Those short messages people send with a tip to hear their name whispered. It was late, maybe 1:20 a.m. I was halfway through a rain on window plus sleep affirmations stream. The chat was calm hearts, moon emojis, sleepy faces. Then a new message popped up from a user called The Echo. Please say my name slowly, 3 times. I smiled, leaned close to the mic, and whispered, Echo, echo, echo. The stream crackled for half a second. Then my headphones filled with a faint breath, like someone exhaling directly into my left ear. I froze. Sometimes the mic feedbacks through the mixer when you whisper too close. But this wasn't static. This sounded alive. Sorry, mic glitch, I whispered, trying to stay calm. Chat didn't seem to notice. But I did. The next night, the echo tipped again. $5. Message. Closer this time. I frowned. Weird but not alarming. I leaned in, whispering the username again. So close my breath fogged the mic screen. Echo, echo. Before I said the third, the monitor behind me flickered. Just once, like a light shadow passed across it. I thought it was a reflection. Then I heard it again. A whisper, faint and distant. But it didn't come from my mouth. Closer. It was my voice. But not live. Like a recording played back with a half-second delay. I ended the stream early. told the audience I was feeling off. No one questioned it. The next day, I checked the replay. At the exact moment I leaned in, the audio track duplicated itself. Two identical voices, one slightly slower, as if the second voice was repeating me from somewhere else. I muted one track, but the other kept echoing my words. Long after I stopped talking, the waveform didn't stop where it should have. It went on for 2 more minutes of silence. And then faintly, my own voice whispered, "Can you hear me now?" I didn't stream for 3 days after that. But the messages didn't stop. Every morning, the echo sent a new donation. Each one higher than the last. Each one with just 2 words. Say more. By the 4th day, the total was $300. It felt wrong to take it. But the algorithm loves consistency. And I told myself maybe it was just a dedicated fan. So Friday night, I turned on the soft rain loop, lit a candle, and whispered, "Welcome back to the Whisper Room." Right then, my mic buzzed softly. Not loud, not harsh, just a faint vibration, like a phone on a table in another room. I adjusted the cable, and the buzz responded. A low hum, perfectly timed to my movements. Like breathing, I went on anyway. 10 minutes in, I did my usual tapping sequence. Wood, glass, metal, fabric. The chat was calm, sleepy content. Then a viewer named Rainwalker wrote, "Who's sitting behind you?" I froze. "Behind me," I whispered, forcing a small laugh. "No one's here." The chat filled with variations of, "I saw that." One said, "Look at the reflection." I turned to the dark window beside me. The rain outside streaking down in long silver lines. For a second, I saw my reflection, and behind it a second face. Not a stranger. Mine. But its mouth was moving. And mine was. I slammed the laptop shut. The stream ended. I sat there, heartbeat in my throat, the rain hitting harder against the glass. After a while, I told myself it was a trick of the reflection, a double exposure from the monitor. Light tricks, nothing more. But then my phone pinged. An email from the Echo. No text, just an audio file named Reply, MP3. I didn't want to open it, but I did. At first, it was just white noise. Then faintly, my own whisper from the last stream. Looped, over and over. "Welcome back to the Whisper Room. Welcome back to the Whisper Room. Welcome back to the Whisper Room." Then a new voice layered under it. Deeper, distorted male. "Number, welcome home." That night, I unplugged everything. Mic, camera, router, power. I couldn't sleep. Every noise felt like static waiting to start talking again. At 3:06 a.m., I woke to a faint whispering sound from the hallway. Not from the computer, from the air vent. A voice, repeating words. "Say it again." I stood there in the dark, barefoot, shivering, and whispered back, "I don't know what you want." The whisper answered, "You already said it." Then silence. The next morning, I called my internet provider. They checked my connection. No issues. No remote logins. No active streams. But when I opened my email, there was another message from the Echo. Subject line, "We like your new address." I hadn't moved, but I had recently applied for a new apartment, and the lease hadn't even been processed yet. Someone knew. I told myself it was stalking, hacking, digital nonsense. I deleted the account, changed my phone, started fresh. A week later, my old laptop pinged on its own, its camera light flicking once. Though it wasn't connected to power, the mic recorded 3 seconds of audio. When I played it, I heard myself whispering, "Welcome back." And then, someone else, breathing close to the mic, finished the sentence. To the echo room. I sold my gear, quit streaming, moved cities. But every once in a while, when I scroll through YouTube or Twitch, I'll see a thumbnail with my face, smiling softly, head tilted toward the mic. The title always reads, "Live Now, Whisper Room Returns." When you click, the stream is blank. No chat, no sound, just a single, faint whisper every few minutes. And if you listen close enough, you can hear it say your name. If you ever watch an ASMR stream, and the echo starts answering back, don't listen for what it says. Listen for what it remembers. Good night.